Welcome back to the LCS Challengers League. I'm Mazel, joined by Beatdown Boulevard and EG Challengers Seoul, as we are getting into our second series of the day. It was a incredible 1-1 series between Cloud9 Challengers and Golden Guardians Challengers, but now ahead of us, we've got Tender Love and Care, or Team Liquid Honda Challengers versus CLG Challengers. And I know we talked to the Rizzler earlier today, but I've got the Rizzler here. So you were doing some snooping, Mr. Rizzler. What did you find?
Yeah, I'll have you all know that I happened to find Juice, the coach of a CLG, of course, his diary. And he had some cute Valentine's cards that he put in there. Why don't we get those up on the screen? Yeah, Mazel, see, you're getting in the mood. You know what it is. Come on, so let me see.
Oh my God, the preview of the series. Oh no! So this is the personal diary of Jubes, the longtime friend and cohort of Spawn, the coaches for both teams.
Exactly. The snooping revealed this. We have other ones in here. Of course, these guys care about each other a lot. They were friends when they both worked in OS and everything like that. And I'll explain the next card when it pops up, because there's a real interesting fun fact with that one. And it's also a funny picture. Shout out Kango.
I just love the J+S. It's just so nostalgic.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so cute.
And this is the interesting thing too, because apparently CLG, excuse me. So Kevy, so Kevy and Jubes work together in OS, and Mir and Spawn work together in OS. So there's that relationship when they brought them over here, which is also the whole, what's the word? The inspiration to this one. And yeah, the hair in it is.
Oh my God.
That's good.
I can't keep it together. I can't, we need to change off this. That Jube's face is just so full of love.
He's so
and
happy.
Wholesomeness. They're meant to be forever. What do you think about this wonderful combo here? The J+S forever Soul.
Yeah, I mean, it looks definitely quite heartwarming. I'm not too familiar with the O stuff, but it seems like they're a pretty good combo here.
So the cool background is they are friends, right? It's nice to see that too, especially with Juve's foray into coaching, Spawn's foray into coaching as well, coming from playing, casting, things like that. And I think the fact that they scrim each other, I believe we found out it was like once a week at least, like making sure to keep each other on tabs, making sure to have each other's P's and Q's dotted and crossed, and I think that it's been really cool to see the development of, yes, not only the players in ACL, but as well as the coaches beat down.
That's right. You love to see it. And speaking of players, coaches, and everything like that, we got our first team that we're going to be talking about, guys. It's going to be Team Liquid Honda Challengers, a team, I mean, a lot of potential, still pretty at a decent spot. I believe they are on the left side of our standings, but not in the top 6. They've run into some tough times recently. And the most interesting to me about this, and actually both of their teams, they both got 2-0'd yesterday. So one of these teams is at least going home, or maybe both of these teams, with 3 losses. And that's brutal.
Yeah. And this roster, for Team Liquid Honda Challengers, obviously very stout. Have had some very high moments, and especially kind of looking across the board, Soul, anybody stand out? I mean, I know Bradley probably as a top lane matchup in its own right, but any thoughts about Team Liquid?
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that stands out the most to me is definitely their top side. I mean, Bradley has shown that he's like an extremely strong laner, great top lane player, and then obviously the addition of Mir and APA, they've shown that they are also like the top in their role. APA has some extreme stand-up performances, and Mir, he's always like smurfing as always, so.
Gotta love some Smurfs in the jungle for sure. As we do look over at their challengers in the LCS Challengers, it is CLG at least, not Cloud9. We just saw them. Jenkins gonna be a match for Bradley at the top side. Copy against APA, another big bright spot. Meech and Breezy versus him down and Arrow. I think there's a lot to say about this matchup holistically, but for me, it's definitely centered around this Copy versus APA matchup. APA finally getting the call up to the level that we feel like he's deserved for a long time, and Copy finding himself a new home and finding some comfort with the team here at Beatdown.
That's right. And I think Copy fits this team like a glove. Even though this team has had some struggles, I think overall this is a roster with a lot of potential. Jenkins, I think, has been playing better this year. The fact that he's got these really cool top pocket picks that we were talking about a little bit, Soul, is great. Meech and Breezy are one of the better bot lanes we have as well, which makes this matchup overall so exciting.
What are you looking at big time here, Soul? What are you? What's your big head-to-head? Are you looking at copy APA mid, or are you stuck in that top lane?
I think it's both of the solo laners actually. I mean,
Okay.
APA definitely received the call up, and you know, Copy's been known as like one of the best mid laners in the NACL for a while now. So I think it'll be like a great chance for APA to prove himself. And obviously Jenkins recently, he's had his like crazy picks, and you know, I'm honestly excited to see what's gonna happen in the top lane. I know it's gonna be a banger.
It's going to be an absolute banger. Well, we do have the joy of having you join us for the cast. But first, we got to get through the draft. So make sure you're taking all the notes, all the analysis. We'll check back in with you after draft is done and get you into the cast. We're going to go ahead and go on to Team Liquid Honda Challengers being on the blue side, CLG Challengers on the red side. We'll see these big bands, the big focuses at least for today. We already have seen the Sejuani complete no-show today because of bans. And we'll see if it does continue to kind of be those tried and true junglers taken off the board. At least now we'll see it the Maokai also.
I think that's going to be the case because Kevy, Mir, just two of a whole list of junglers who are so good at executing for their bottom lane in particular. Mir has the most creative pathing, and I like watching him play. I think he's one of my favorite junglers to watch because his pathing is very creative. We'll spend a lot of time, and it's hard to know if he does it intentionally. It's always his plan to set up Arrow and Kim down for success. But I see these situations where very often he clears bot side and then he goes to the bot lane. There are these factors. Yeah, but there are these factors where you aren't expecting it as the enemy bot lane, at least earlier into the split. They probably are now. You aren't expecting it. You don't ward for it. With that information, Mir is immediately like, oh, hey, no ward bot side?
Yeah.
What's up? How you
Very
doing?
true. So something coming into this one, I got to talk with Copy and APA a little bit, and we'll get their thoughts going throughout the series. But the big thing for Copy here was that he feels and respects APA for his grind and what he's been able to do. Feels like that champion pool is very niche. That champion pool is very much something they can target in the draft. We only see really the Kassadin targeting that, but we'll see in the second phase as that's where a lot of the mid lane bans have come through. We get first pick of the Vi for Mir. So very, very much forward aggression for TL coming out already. We have Jenkins locking in the Lucian for CLG, at least to go to Meech. And we'll see the Viego as the choice for Kevy.
That's a very interesting one. We don't see a lot of it, but I like the matchup into the Vi. If it comes into the 1v1, I think your chances are pretty good. And it's something we've seen Shaden do a lot of good work with on this champion. So why not Kevy? Okay.
Let's go.
Damn.
Dude, so there's some spice circling the scrims now as well. A little bit of confidence coming out on stage. We get Arrow and Kim down locking in the Nautilus and the Draven. We've already seen Arrow obviously well known for his Draven. I mean, this guy is no slouch in terms of the veterancy and presence that he brings, but just last week we saw him steal the dragon with the soul, at least I believe it was, with the whirling death. So a little bit of play comfort coming in for Arrow. We have the response in the Braum. This is a combo we haven't seen in a long time, but boy, it is very, very oppressing in lane.
I love it. And even though Cubby is on the other broadcast right now, I'm sure he felt it somewhere deep in his soul.
Just locked in.
That's right. A Braum gets locked in, and I love it. So great into the 3 champs we're already seeing from TL, and just so good into all in overall. So it means that this laning phase is going to be a little easier for Meech than if it was the Nami coming through here. And this is that old combo, of course. You can stack up those concussive blows very quickly. So Arrow and Kim down, they are going to have to be careful.
So we get the APA Ziggs banned away. Needs to ban that away after what happened last time around. Funny point about that, by the way. Just a full commitment from the team. I talked to APA and he was like, hey, my team just kind of listened to my call and we went with it and it worked out. And I love to hear that kind of stuff. But it definitely deserves that ban from CLG.
Especially because I think they're setting up for the Rise pick. You got to respect the Cassiopeia from APA. Great at the champ. Great answer into Rise. You just want to remove a lot of those possibilities, so TL are going to do the same thing. They're like, okay, well, we see you setting up for it, so it's going to be off the table. And of course, very unsurprising, the blind top here for Jenkins with the Cassante. Not as exciting, as spicy as the Warwick, but my eyes are on the mid matchup that we've been highlighting. APA will have to go blind. A lot of the standard picks and some APA pocket picks aren't going to be available here.
Getting the Jenkins hover here.
Yeah, that's some Jenkins banter going through there.
Oh, man. Would love to see something at least come as a big bridge, I guess, for this mid lane. Oh my god.
What about a wall?
Oh my god.
Oh,
what about a guillotine? As that's Bradley throwing down the gauntlet.
Lennon, I've been begging top laners to play two things into Cassante. One of them is Ola, because you stomp him. The other one is Darius, because you also stomp him. Like, it's actually disgusting.
Okay.
That matchup, Jenkins, I'm so sorry, bro, for what you're gonna have to go through. But you know, it be how it do sometimes. And the Weaver Swall, the Talia for APA, he's been putting a lot of time in that recently, at least on match days. And with all these other picks taken out of the picture, it makes a lot of sense. Copy? Oh,
I'm looking through right now. So I'm looking through right now. Maybe I'm blind.
Maybe.
But I believe this is the first Bradley Darius.
I think so as well. I barely see Darius as it is.
I don't see it in his list. So it is the first time we're getting Bradley, unless somebody wants to correct me on Twitter. We also get the copy Zoe, so a lot of that setup potential there. But man, fisticuffs are already drawn. We had blood for days in Series 1, but we are not letting up, Beatdown.
These teams got their hands up at the moment here. They're looking to fight it out, and I'm so excited to see this one play out. I mean, just cursory glance, I favor TL. You have this hard-winning top matchup. You have a lot of setup making plays to side. You can play to this winning side. You can play to this Draven on the bottom side with this Talia once we see APA get to that level 6. The problem is APA played this matchup into Bolulu when he debuted here in the NACL. So that's where the concern is, because it looks like a pretty tough matchup for Talia.
Yeah.
Maybe APA learned from that experience and see what he's able to do.
We're going to have to find out how they can mediate that early game as well. We're going to bring back Soul as we get his breakdown of this draft and the spice we get top lane. We'll start there. We'll start with the Darius versus Cassante as we'll be getting into the game here shortly. So Soul, just give me this breakdown from top to bottom.
I need to know.
I mean, I'm super excited for the top lane matchup. I mean, people have been calling for this matchup for a while, and I think if there's a Darius game, this is it. You know, he's against 3 melees. He's got a lot of targets to stack his passive on, and Jenkins is going to be sitting under his tower the entire game. The only worry I would say is, you know, Cassante can still do Cassante things. So if you get hit by 3rd Q and you get pulled back into tower, you know, that could spread some bad news for Bradley. But I think that if Bradley plays this lane well, like, this game is his to take over.
Man, I'm looking at Chadley right now. That's all I see in my eyes. Speaking of what you see in your eyes, make sure you're spamming in chat who you think's going to win. TLC in the chat if you think it's Team Liquid Honda, or CLGC for CLG Challengers. You need to get some faith in the chat here. Listen to Zero, but Brand, I know. Where's Kangas? Oh, he's on the other stream.
Oh, damn.
He's probably casting right now. We do see this startup, though, here. And so speaking of Soul, the resources delved for Mir going out to Bradley. Is it just the Bradley show here for Mir early on?
Well, Mir still does have a Draven bot lane, so I think there's a high chance that this will still be the bot lane show. But I think if nothing too explosive happens by the time Rift Herald spawns, I think we'll definitely get a taste of what this Darius can do.
Okay. Well, we're getting the Mir clear on red side. We'll get the opposite side start for Kevy. Again, we haven't much talked about this Viego pick. Not as much in the meta recently beat down. But especially a crucial pick, it feels like that Kevy was willing to bring into Mir's vibe.
And it's on top of what Soul has already brought up, being just another melee for Bradley to assert dominance over. It is a pick that where you do have a lot of options. Your wave clear is better than Vi, so you do have more opportunities to clear, get on the map faster, or reset, and then immediately play for your bot side. Regardless, Kevy has options in this early game, and I want to see where he's going to be dropping them. I agree with Soul where this is probably that bottom lane show, and that's what I'm watching to see Kevy do.
We saw last series, at least, the Draven paid dividends, as I do believe he was spotted out at the last second of that ward. But we do look in a little bit of this jungle pathing towards the opposite sides, obviously. I think APA copy. APA a little bit more important once he gets to level 6. Those Weaver walls to connect with Mir going to be so crucial. But again, it's been about that duality between these two beatdown and kind of the differences we've seen, that decisiveness from both of them, and the kind of growth we've seen in such a short time.
That's right, and it's cool that these teams are ones who practice together often. I mean, you talk to APA and Copy about, you know, their team, each other, and the responses we got are pretty cool. I think the thing that stands out most to me is from the times I've talked to APA, he's not only very confident in himself, and I mean, if you've been following the guy, of course you know that, but his belief that there aren't too many mids in this league where he says are particular, I'm just gonna say use his words, aren't that as good. And Copy is actually one of the mid laners who he respects. And that's going to make this matchup even more exciting.
Well, and another big point for Copy, I feel like, is the fact that he, to me, had said that he feels a lot more confident in communication. He feels like he can call for resources. He can delve out those resources, know where he needs to be, and communicate with that team. And I want to talk to you, Soul, about that a little bit, as Bradley getting pushed under the tower here. A little bit of trouble. Going to be able to trade back against Jenkins. But that communication structure, that confidence building in the solo lanes, I mean, how important is that when you're even looking at matchups?
So much. A lot of these matchups are decided by like which jungler is there at the right time, and that's on the laners and the junglers to communicate that properly. And I think having that sort of synergy with your laners is something that like teams who have it you can definitely see, and teams who don't definitely struggle. So yeah, I think Copy brings up a really good point.
I guess in building that confidence, do you have any tricks of the trade? Do you have like any, you know, self-probo things? Do you gas yourself up at all, like just trying to make sure that you're kind of working yourself in the right way?
I think just practice is the best way to do it. You know, you don't want too much of that fake confidence, you know, that delusional type of ego. I think, you know, hard work and practice, as you know, as generic as it is really the true way to you know, get that sort of confidence up.
Love to hear that. Now we do have first dragon spawning up on the board in about 20 seconds. We see that the pathing could lead to that for Mir earlier on. A little bit of movement from Copy in the mid lane as well. We'll be spotting them out, as I don't necessarily see as much of an early objective kind of game as we got last series as well. And I'm really wondering where these kind of first entrances into the game will be for both junglers who right now seem fine with just farming it away deep down.
Right, and I think a big part of it is that the Braum bot lane, I might need to hold... Never mind, Bradley's...
Nah, it's fine. It's not exactly a wet noodle fight. It's just like an edge noodle fight. I don't know.
Yeah, I will quickly say, I think we might see a solo kill pretty soon just because of the waves pushing away from Jenkins. And the thing that's good about this matchup, and Soul, feel free to chime in, is just the fact that like Darius is great at running people down, and that's like Kasante's one big fear.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I was definitely holding my breath there a little bit in case that fight went on any longer. But yeah, we are nearing the point where Bradley is going to start running down Jenkins, and Jenkins has to be very careful if he oversteps, because one mistake, he's going to end up getting dunked.
Did you take Flash in this matchup instead of Ghost? Just really quick.
I think Flash is probably a little bit better. Yeah, I would probably prefer Flash, but I can definitely see the Ghost, because when the lane is up like this, you know, and you're trying to crash as Jenkins, sometimes you would rather have the Ghost, but you know, sometimes when you're under your tower a bit closer to the turret and a bit safer, you'd rather have the Flash so you can get like those outplays and stuff.
Yeah.
I want to dive into where your head would be at in this kind of situation, though, like, especially communication with the rest of the team. I know that's been an important concept, at least this far, but like, when you're in a situation like this for Jenkins, what are you saying to your team to try to enable you? I guess as we see him running with his team towards this at least jungle fight that's brewing. Looks like CLG might be able to make it out of here. But what are you trying to say? Are you trying to say to kind of come capitalize or trying to come help out? Or are you saying, I got this, guys?
Well, in this matchup, I definitely think Jenkins would need some help. But I think for the most part right now in the situation of top lane, you're just trying to make sure your bot lane doesn't lose out too much, you know? So you kind of have to be like nice about it.
Yeah.
Like you kind of have to ask like, hey guys, like if I get a little bit of help, is that okay for everyone else? You know, I hope no one else minds.
Kind
type
guy.
of thing.
Things, you know?
Yeah, you know, you kind of gotta like get a feel as to what's going on.
Bot lane getting a little bit aggressive here.
See ya.
My God, those concussive blows do stack up in first blood for Meech.
Was that old combo for a reason. That came up real quick. This is that bot lane we were hyping up here with that immediate Draven Nautilus. CLG, excuse me. They had that answer. And so far, it's been doing wonders for a bot lane we've had a lot of excitement over. And even though you're right, Mazel, I'm not really seeing much objective setup at the moment. It's more about laning phase. And I think this is a good start for CLG.
Now, we do want to see kind of these item completions, especially for Meech and Breezy, who are getting ever so closer to that. We see a roam having started out by Kim down. You actually see as well Breezy on the way. There is the Rift Herald coming up very soon. Soul, when you're having this kind of fight, do you just tell team to stay away from Rift Herald? Or you just say like, hey, guys, I don't think we can win this one?
You know, I think Jenkins has actually been playing this lane really well. He's been keeping up even in CS, and it doesn't seem like he's shying away from fighting Bradley at all. So I do think we're going to get a brawl at this Rift Herald coming up really soon.
Oh, Heavy's level 6. There is
We see you, that Heartbreaker, the resets.
Yeah.
Level 6 not completed for Kim Down just yet. Not going to have the engaged. Breezy, though, will be in the middle of everybody. Kim Down gets heartbroken,
here we go.
and it's right before Valentine's Day. CLG take 2 kills, and Copy wants a 3rd. He takes APA out, and don't call him a hitman.
Wow. CLG, they're getting everything they want in this early game. An incredible play coming through here in the resets that were so important for Kevy, who brings out the not as popular Viego, pays dividends. Because as Viego, you love to be able to take those supports. Kim Down being the first one to go down, especially when you're level 6, it's just reset city at that point.
Feels real good from CLG, and a little bit of that communication starting to show through here. Soul, one of the big things for Copy was, he said, his biggest weakness coming into the season is now his biggest strength, and we see that communication being that.
Yeah, I mean, Copy lands like this insane bubble here, and then they just fully layer on a CC onto Kim Down. He gets the Viego reset, and then honestly, after this, it's just kind of history. It speaks for itself.
Yeah.
The fact that he goes the extra mile here, he's just like, yeah, I'm gonna go with you,
yeah,
bro.
the last auto attack. That Copy played that so well.
Shout out Victor as well. V-Flight for all these very cool cinematic replays. And hey, this is brutal. We're already seeing, although Copy hasn't been... Wow, that was really fast. What the hell?
That wasn't set up
That's
at
not
all.
a tweet. Wait, that's not really a tweet. There's no way. Either way. Actually, Bradley might be in trouble.
He is definitely in some trouble. Those concussive blows stack up, and a couple more shots. Ooh. Okay.
He's out of there.
No way. Oh, wow. Bradley truly is Chadley, Soul.
The great escape. Yeah, I mean, I thought he was dead there for sure, but, you know, quick movement, a nice flash, and he's out.
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. We're looking at this Rift Herald next for Kevy, though, and TL trying to find something back on the map. I think something for TL is... obviously, track record says never count these guys out. We have seen them drag back wins from the brink of destruction, and it comes with a lot of the veterancy that's been developed from Arrow over time, from Bradley mixing in with a lot of the newer faces, and we're seeing those newer faces try to make some moves up top side.
Right, again, Mir does so much for this bot lane, and Arrow, oh, he's looking to cash in big.
He was already dealing with Bradley all game. You have to come up here again. Oh, no. He's just down. The kill goes to Arrow, so he cashes in those adoration stacks.
Wow, that was brutal. I mean, I think it's just Jenkins getting a taste of Bradley's medicine, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, Bradley gets the escape, and now it's Jenkins' turn. You know, it's the top players taking turns getting bullied. And unfortunately for Jenkins, you know, he does end up going down, and Draven gets the big cash in.
Feels so bad, too. I mean, it's as you said, Jenkins played the lane right, came out ahead in CS until these switch-ups came through, but he still ends up falling anyways. But they want a second crack at this Darius.
See if Bradley can get away from this very sticky situation. Alcove Gaming may not be his friend, although he pulls Meech in close to give him a nice little hug. The Heartbreaker denies the guillotine, and Kevy gets another kill. Man.
Now, this is crazy. We have this first dragon for CLG. We have everything in this early game going their way. They've only given away 1 kill, and it was the one we saw topside. It is a big deal because you can see Arrow is just ahead of everybody. Not a mythic, but he has his first item in a BF sword. And now my eyes are on this Draven. Even though Bradley is still going to be strong inside, still going to be able quite good into someone like Jenkins or anybody he's running into 1v1. Now, this is where TLC, like you said, can start bringing things back from the brink, Rizal.
If they can get that comeback stirring up for themselves. Still a long way to go for that one, it feels like. We do have a little bit of movement around this mid lane, but I especially want to know, Soul, and looking at like the end of the game kind of style after Arrow gets engaged on here. Maybe we don't have time to talk about it as Meech gets re-engaged on by Mir, but Kevy has found Arrow and he doesn't have the Heartbreaker, but he's got the damage. And TL are just poofs of dust in front of Cloud, or the Cloud of CLG, and especially the faith that has come through. I don't know if Kangas is watching, but it's coming alive here for CLG.
I'm sure just like Cubby feels the Braum pickup come through, Kangas feels when CLG is doing well. And CLGC, they're smoking Team Liquid in this early game, Mazel. My goodness, what a game we're seeing here from the squad. And I'm going to be honest, Arrow, is there something you want to talk about? Because this really wanting to take out that pink ward, I think, is what started this whole thing off.
Is that where your issue is?
Yes! You don't need... Look, there's no dragon for 4 minutes. You don't need to be there, man. Come on.
A little bit of engagement, but Soul, I mean, we've talked about kind of bringing back from the break for TL, but they've dug themselves a huge hole here. And we were talking about such strength from topside Bradley into Jenkins, the Darius versus the Cassante, but now feels like those are not necessarily going to be there. So how does TL kind of regroup, refocus, and work out this game plan, especially with such a pivotal point in Darius top?
I think at this point, they just got to start playing away from the Viego. I think a lot of the times, with the comp setup around with Zoe, with Braum, a lot of times it's going to be hard to deny the reset. So at this point, TL's just got to think, like, wherever this Viego is, I'm running away from this guy. I'm not fighting him, you know?
Got to be away, as far away as humanly possible. I think you're right. Because the objective bounties are up. CLG are 5K in Team Liquid right now. And it only gets more difficult from here, especially because, like you said, you got to track Kevy. And you have to make sure you're where he isn't.
And we were... Go ahead, Sol. Go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think right now, TL is definitely just looking for those miracle picks right now. They have the Nautilus, they have the Vi. They just need to make sure they don't get into like these team fight situations that CLG has been constantly forcing them into. And we have a top lane fight.
Uh-oh. All out use Bradley in a 1v2. Heals up a little bit. Guillotine not going to go through. He gets denied every time by the Heartbreaker. It just feels bad, and it's a little bit heartbreaking. Man, I get the laughs out of both my co-casters. I love it. That's all I'm here for. That's all the payment I need.
You're just a funny guy, Mazel. What can I say?
Nah, don't give me that title. Come on. Now,
okay,
let's walk away from that one. Let's walk away from that one now.
You're right.
So I do want to zoom in, though, because we were kind of talking about how TL will bring this one into fold here. But right now, it just feels like CLG are running away with this one. And I think that does play to the benefit that we have just seen this step up of Jenkins, Copy, and Meech, respectively, beat down.
That's right. And
speaking of a little bit of cast, hey, you get your first instance of a live caster curse here, Soul. How does it feel? Let's hear the immediate reaction.
Well, you know, maybe I shouldn't have spoken too soon about how well their top lane or their top side has been playing. But yeah, unfortunately, Coffee gets picked out, which means it's a free dragon for TL, which means they get a little bit more breathing room in this game, which they pretty desperately need right now.
Yeah, you want to slow down the Dragon Soul, and it's that extra gold because of the objective bounty they're securing for themselves. Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, wow. No. Breach of easy. Freezy.
Teleport.
No. He's in trouble. Okay, they got the TP coming back, though. Jenkins is joining the fight. Now they're TP again, Copy as well. They've taken down Kim down, and this gold lead is paying dividends. Give them the big bucks as Arrow goes down to Meech. They get a re-engage here, though, trading back, as now it's going to be 2 falling eventually. Copy and Meech are down, and CLG, they get turned upon them. This fight they wanted in bot lane.
Oh, I mean, this game has just been a complete banger. I mean, both teams are just keeping their foot on the gas right now, and it's just non-stop action.
Dude, it's a good thing to see.
I can't believe we're getting this such tussle between these two teams that, honestly, we already said it. They have such a track record between the two, right? They scrim all the time. The coaches are good friends, and we're seeing some of this fun being had on the Rift. It just makes me happy, Beatdown.
Yeah, and it's great to see, especially from CLG, because going into this split, we talked about how this team, same roster, only change is that they brought in Copy, one of the best mids from last year. So we're thinking, okay, this team is going to be nuts, clearly. And right now, some early struggles here so far in spring, but they've gotten to the 7-7 record, and they're well on their way to making that 8-7. This is that potential that we were expecting from this roster.
And we have seen the crazy late game antics from TL before. They do still have a little bit of scaling aspects for them, and trying to find some stability around the map with that dragon has been done. See how, well, you know what? I guess Arrow just left out and killed by Beach. So that stability, not there. Not there, Beatdown.
No, and the W kill, definitely it feels good there. Nice quick little thank you from Meech. And it just continues to solidify CLG's lead in this game. This is insane. And one thing we haven't really gotten to talk about yet that I want to credit a little bit. You know what? The crazy thing is it was going to be Copy, but I'm scared now because I might curse him.
Don't say his name. Don't do it.
Copy, you're not doing that great. Yeah, okay, good. See, it's working.
Okay, he walks away.
Real talk. Copy, I think I want to highlight not just how he's playing, but the Zoe pick in general. When you see the Talia, this is a champ that wants to get out of lane. And Post 6 use that Weaver's Wall to affect side, and APA hasn't been able to do that this game. He's ahead in farm and maintains a minor gold lead, but that inability to impact the map because Zoe's so good at contesting early on has been such a big part of why CLG are in this position at the moment. And even if mid isn't doing as well, why don't we take a look a bit at Meech real quick. Soul, that's, that's 2,000 gold, am I right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's 2,000 gold on an 80 carry too, which is, you know, even more OP than on any other role.
Yeah, exactly.
So I want to go back to your point about Copy Zoe here as well. I mean, the man has a near 80% win rate on the champion, right? It is his second most played as a whole, but it's not only that early advantage we saw, it's looking at how he maneuvers the later game fights. Those sleepy trouble bubbles are going to be so crucial for CLG to set up for. And I guess in this situation, especially from your perspective, if you're Bradley Soul, how do you kind of try to get an in into these team fights? Because you know they're going to start being more important.
I mean, at this point, Bradley's like not super tanky, and one bubble basically spells doom for anyone on the side of TL. So I think if I was in Bradley's position, you know, I just hope that someone ints, you know, I get a reset, and then, you know, maybe we can, you know, work around the dunks a little bit.
Got to land the dunks in the first place. Has been denied every time he's been trying to land the guillotines. And I think that's where the strength of presence from CLG is working out for them. They can kill on sight with the amount of burst damage they have, and they're using that to their full advantage. They're about to take a tier 2 tower beatdown. Oh, they don't do it.
That's okay. I like what you said. They're on site. And that's what it really feels like for CLG, because as soon as you see someone, it's on site. They want to fight. And they're in that position at 6k gold up where they're absolutely allowed to do so. The saving grace for TL is that you got that that second dragon. You did slow things down a little bit in terms of soul stacking, giving yourself breathing room, like Soul said. But CLG are going to continue stacking away, and with this deficit you find yourself in, we keep talking about it, we keep seeing it. It's just time to all in the side lane.
Now, I know this is probably feeling like a little bit of home for you, Soul, where there's a popping off Viego. I know you're very used to that with Shaden. But how do you expect the combo of Jenkins and Kevy really to hammer home this win?
I mean, honestly, every single fight, all that CLG's got to talk about is that Viego reset. That is their number one key, and as long as they get any reset on any of like the Nautilus, even the Bradley, Mirror, yeah, he's just gonna start popping off and just start running over TL. So I think that's just the main thing they got to focus on. Make sure no one gets caught out randomly, and then just play for these Viego resets, and CLG should be able to take it home.
It'd be an easy executable win here. Third item completion for Meech as well. So the Lucian definitely doing some work, but TL, they find the pick onto Breezy. We'll see if CLG can make it out of here. They're on the wrong side of the map, and APA doing a lot of work here. Baron is on the table, but not something TL want to go for. CLG have the upper hand here. They're going to force the hand of CLG.
They used no ultimates to secure that kill, so this is a big opportunity. But TL, even with the man advantage, they have to play for this turn. That's why you see Kim down looking for these hooks.
Kevy's on the side here as he wants to get into the pit. 6,000 health. TL, they're committing to the play, and this is something that was super crucial to them, was all being on the same page. Something they've been working on, and they do pull off all together. CLG move forward, but it won't be the commitment to the fight just yet. As a little close. Copy trying to go for some craziness there, but won't find it. Trying to collapse now onto a very greedy back. And it's coming down. Yeah, they saw Jenkins up here. They know he's in the alcove. Like, he backed almost at their tower, and he deserves to die at that point. As Bradley taken out, and CLG capitalize yet again.
You know what, Mazel? That's ruthless. I respect that. And I want to really quickly highlight CLG, the patience in that last Baron play. They recognize that, like, hey, look, you can do the Baron. Oh, wait a minute.
Oh my God. Flashes out. They're doing the Baron now, beatdown.
Yeah. And now this is what they've earned. Bradley's out of the picture, but they have to try as TL.
Oh, the sleepy trouble bubble lands onto Kim down. The whirling death is not off copy. Moving forward with some damage, but the big damage is coming from Kevy. As soon as he gets those resets, he wants to go over the wall, but not going to do it. APA able to lay down the groundwork for Team Liquid's escape. There's a lot of contested fights here, Soul, but it still feels like very controlled from CLG.
Yeah, I mean, TL had like that insane pick first in the dot push of the Baron, and then CLG is just playing this super calculated, you know, pulling them off the Baron, getting another pick, and then they pull back onto the Baron, but good for TL that they were able to stop that.
Love to see that capitalization beat down.
Yeah. And it is important. CLG played the last Baron attempt by TL very well, but now they're in that position where they still have a lead. TL managed to force them off the Baron. It's just continuing to do what they've had to do all game. It buys them time, and that's it. What are they going to be able to do with this time? Bradley been having a tough time on this Darius, has been punished quite a lot. And you can see CLG are taking advantage as they can just walk into TL's jungle, continue to clear and set up vision, and they're just fully in control of this game.
And I do see a little bit of that engage potential there as we are blocking the damage that could have followed by copy. But it's a pretty much turtle-centric comp right now for TL, and it's not working out for them so well. The Sleepy Trouble Bubble connects. APA concussive blows into a Heartbreaker, and Copy gets the kill. Culling just guns down Kim down. And CLG, they can't stop winning. That's a Heartbreaker out from Kevy, and they're back onto the Baron.
And now, this is the prize that CLG will be able to take unless Mir goes for a miracle steal. It's just going to be about taking down this mid turret if possible and trying to have Bradley trade on the side lane. Some objective bounties, yes, but you lose that ultimate prize in the big purple worm. CLG continuing to assert control over this game.
And honestly, what a kind of performance in terms of Kevy having a big strong showing, Jenkins and Copy the Soul Lanes working out, but Meech and Breezy as well being so stable. Now we're looking at how TL get gold back on the map as they're circling like 8,000 gold deficit here, and does not feel good. And I was wondering to see, I guess, Soul, next steps for TL. What are you kind of saying in this moment? Even if you're, top lane player like Bradley, who's 0-3 on the Darius, what are you trying to say to kind of keep heads prevailing?
I think TL's just got to keep doing what they've been doing to try to get themselves back in the game. They've got some really nice picks actually earlier in the game, and they've been able to keep up this like stable game state for the most part until this Baron. And I think they just got to keep looking for these picks because these are realistically what's going to give them a foot in this game.
We will see the CLG just rampaging down bot lane as there's no real defense coming out. Back for APA has been started. Bradley is still in mid lane. The inhib tower will just fall outright.
Yeah.
We'll see the defense around inhib though now, if they can actually do this. The Sleepy Trouble Bubble does connect, meaning that Mir has to get out, and the engage might be coming soon. Culling, and again! Man, you're just catching bullets side to side, Kim down. This is an in push from CLG Challengers beatdown. They find one more, and there's a 1v1 in mid lane going down, but it might not even matter in the end. The CLG with this Baron push are trying to put the finishing touches, but can't do so.
They're not going to bite off more than they can chew, Mazel. They have a lot of gold to spend, but wow.
Uh-oh.
CLG,
No,
speaking
Bradley
of gold.
knows.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that is not a feels good, man. And TL, they should just lose here as the finishing blows, finishing touches for CLG. They still have Baron up for a while, and there's one final little fight that does not even seem possible at this point. As APA's Weaver's Wall comes across, CLG get the better of Team Liquid Honda Challengers in game number 1 through dominant fashion. 10,000, 11,000 in the lead. They just need to close out one last fight. No, they're not going to do. They still have Bear for 40 seconds.
EPA has ult.
Well,
CLG has a lot of gold to spend. Okay,
little time, I guess. A little reset coming through. Not going to finish the game, and a little bit of maybe cheeky play coming out here from CLG on the backside. Beat down.
Okay, real quick. I think CLG are going to stay and try to force this dragon, but I wonder, with Bradley coming up, are TL going to do something about that? So instead, CLG are contesting mid. What?
Him down, almost gets taken out again. The calling is available. Oh my god, and it just gets arrow. And well, you just needed one little push to send TL over the edge, and CLG shoved them right off Spartan style. It's a CLG Challengers cleaning up the final remaining members, the fighting remnants of Team Liquid in this game number 1. And we put so much stock into APA and Copy comes out victorious in game number 1 with his team star-studded around him. And Soul, what a performance from the CLG roster.
Yeah, no, they played this game basically perfectly. I would say like mid lane and jungle did really, really well. They had the top lane counter pick in Bradley, which didn't really end up working out for him, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's a go back to the drawing board and maybe look at those multiple scrims we've had with this team and see what could work in that one. But that's it for us for this first game of their second series. We're gonna sit to a little break. We'll be right back afterwards though to break down the series and talk more with Soul.